Hello again, everybody. Apologies for not doing a video yesterday. I had like 3 nights of really bad sleep, and just wasn't feeling it. But I had an interesting day yesterday, which I'll tell you about. Whoa, we've got a 1335 opponent. Okay, so we're just going to carry on with this today. I'm not in the mood for doing like a blitz tournament or anything like that. We'll do the Goering maybe. We'll see what we do. Really interesting day yesterday. So just while we're waiting, for moves to happen. So I kind of retired from refereeing at the end this May, towards the end of last season, because I was just getting too pissed off with it really. I'd done 4 seasons and I'd only gone up 1 grade. You start at level 12 and I'd gone up in my 3rd season to level 11. But since kind of losing my job, or losing my main client that I'd had for 6 years, towards the end of last year, the kind of spending that much, because I was doing like 3 games a week and stuff like that. What's my opponent thinking about? There's not many moves to play here. I was kind of conscious that the refereeing was taking up a lot of time, so I kind of made a deal with my wife last season that if I didn't go up to level 10, that I'd sack it all, pack it in. And I didn't go up to level 10. I failed to reach my goal, right? But I'm still a qualified referee. So now there's a few moves here. I have played this, but I'm going to play it. No, let's go double. Let's go double. Double pawn sack variation, okay? So this is like full-on Danish style. Okay, now what's the purpose of this? He's stopping that kind of fried liver style attack. Okay, so I'm going to get castled. I think this is a waste of a tempo for black. Where are you from? Azerbaijan. Anyway, I got a call, or I got a text message from a local private school saying, and I've been up there. I've been up there several times because it's only a couple of miles away from me. I've been up there and reffed them before, and I've reffed them elsewhere as well. Very strong rugby school. And I remember somebody in my referee society saying to me, you can't ref their first team. It's like level 7-6 games, right? And I was only level 11. Now you were allowed to do up to 2 levels higher than you, right? So I could do a level 9 game. I have done level 9 games. Okay, I'll get back to the story in a minute. Okay, we have d6. This prepares to bring out this bishop, possibly. I'm kind of inclined to take this pawn. It looks like black is resisting the urge to capture. I should consider moves like queen b3 and queen d5, both of them putting double pressure on the f7 pawn. Okay, so let's look at this for example. Right, you can walk into this, but black can't play that immediately because you can then play this with check and then go on and win the knight. Okay, so this is very critical for black. Black has to notice this, and generally there are 3 moves that you will see. Interestingly, they can't now play knight h6 to defend the pawn. So queen e is going to have to move, right? And I think it's the same deal if I go here or here. This pawn must be defended. Actually, there's this as well, bishop e6. So I think I had that recently. So my hunch is, right, now it's great to have an idea in chess, right? But if it's a bad one, don't do it. There you go. Everything you need to know about chess in 1 sentence, right? Here is just losing tempo. I have to move my queen again. And then black has the option of just eliminating my bishop. Why should I invite that? Okay. I think knight takes c3 is perfectly good. I've got 3 pieces out on the board and I've castled. What's black got? I mean, seriously, zip. So I'm going to take the pawn. I'm going to play more grown up, more positional, get my stuff out on the board. I'm going to dominate the board. I'm going to control squares in my opponent's half. You know what I mean? Lots of squares. Look at all the control I have. Now let us consider. Okay, so first of all, what's happened, right? Well, they played knight f6. That makes them one step closer to castling. They are attacking the pawn on e4. Is the pawn on e4 defended? Yes, it is defended by our knight. Now, any time a piece jumps out, very often the knights, you know, to these squares, potentially walking into the path of a centralized pawn, you have to consider pushing the pawn with tempo. Now, here, it's not really a tempo gaining move because black has d6 takes e5. So I do that, they take me, right? I have one attacker, but they defend, so I would lose my knight that way, unless I trade queens. So look at it this way. I push, taketh, right? Now, if they take with the pawn, I can trade queens. And if the knight takes, I take back with my knight. And I've got ideas of coming in with both knights from the centre and attacking both of these pawns. And that could be interesting. That is a pattern I like. So here, if they take with the knight, obviously same deal. I can take, queen takes queen, king has to move then. So I think this looks good. And that is what we call calculation, right? If I do this, if my opponent does A, let's play it through. What are my options? Does that look better for me or worse for me? What about if they surprise me and don't do that, but do this? But they might do something else. You never know. They might move the knight away. Moving the knight away. Okay, so my thought here is now, if I take here, if he takes with a king, he's lost castling rights. If he takes with a knight, I win the pawn back, and I've got, you know, horseman of the apocalypse, dude, right? My knights become stronger as they move up the board. They love to be in the center of the board. They love to be up here, right? You know, these knights are becoming evil. And he's taken with the king. Whoa, right. So, obviously, right, the queens are off the board. So the issue of king safety is not so much of a thing. What is a thing is them two rooks, right? I've already been castled. I've been castled for weeks, yeah? Laughing boy here, it can't castle anymore because he's just moved his king, and that means that one of these rooks is going to have a slow-ass time getting out into the board. I'm still kind of prepared for this move to happen. I've noticed that my knight can go here, but not here. Not here because knight takes, pawn takes, or I've got that, you know. So I haven't got great options for that knight. I could consider a move like h3, but again, you know, why do it unless you have to? Another good idea might be just rook e1, putting double pressure on this pawn. Can he push it? No, because if I've got a rook here, I can take. Yeah, I am 2 pawns down, right? But look what I've got for my 2 pawns. Oh, there's a hanging pawn. Look, free stuff. Haha. Right, now I'm only 1 pawn down. I'm going to have it, right? I can't. I'm going to double check, but I can't see any problem. My knights are both on defended squares, right? And I've just now isolated this pawn. I've cut up. This was a sequence of 4 pawns all on adjacent files, and what that means is, say for example, if that pawn moved to here, black only has to defend one of them. Only has to defend the rearmost with a piece, because everything else is defended by neighbouring pawns, right? But with this move, this pawn is now, right, a lost soul. He cannot be defended ever by another pawn unless I put a piece on one somewhere and get it captured by a pawn towards the centre. Ain't going to happen, he says. Okay. Now I'll tell you what I'm thinking. I'm thinking I've got to get this bishop out into the board, partly for its own sake and partly to unleash the queen's rook. Okay, my rook really wants to go to this square, pinning this bishop down in an absolute pin on the king. So where can my bishop go? Well, it can't go there because of pawn, it can't go there because of pawn, it can't go there because of that pawn. So we've got a choice of 1, 2, really, right? And it's not this one. So I'm going to put my bishop here. You know, just generally planting seeds, right? Just improving. Now my rook wants to come in. 100% my rook wants to come in. Now, this is just a pretty position, right? I've got a lovely defensive knight on its natural square. The bishop is good. This knight is good, you know, controlling the centre. He's got ideas. He could jump in at some point, pressure this bish, you know. Having said that, you know, after all I said about losing a piece with a pawn capture, that is something I could consider, right? Rook here, knight, bang, take, but then I retake with a rook, yeah? So what's the point of this move? Well, we just don't know. Right, I'm not going to start chasing that bishop around. That would be not a good use of my time and resources. Blackadder goes forth. And Private Plane was the episode with Flashheart. What series? What a series. Or just about perfect TV. There's a few things that are perfect TV. The Darling Buds of May, original one, not the new one. The new one's rubbish. Darling Buds of May with David, Jason and Pam Ferris. Absolutely amazing. Fawlty Towers, both seasons. Incredible. Wonderful comedy. What else is perfect TV? Ooh! Cometh the hour, cometh the man. Okay, he wants a piece of my bishop. Can't go there. Can't go there. We'll get back to perfect TV in a minute. I'm enjoying that conversation. No. Yes. I mean, yes. So what's Black doing? Well, one thing Black has done is he's broken the pin on this bishop. This bishop is now free to move around the cabin. Having said that, the bishop don't have an awful lot of squares to move to. Actually, this one's out because my bishop captures, right? So he's actually only got one square anyway, which could be an idea. Right, but first of all, I think we need to move the bishop, and my hunch is to move the bishop there. We could go here. We could go here. No, 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 no. Yes. Yes, yes, I think is... But I don't really want to instigate a trade here. So I am just going to drop all the way back here. Actually, that's out because of the knight. I could have dropped him here. Oh, no, that's out because of the bishop. What am I thinking? God, good job I'm playing slowly, isn't it? And that's a definite trick, guys. Play slow. How low can you go? Right, I'm only one pawn down. Okay, let's take stock. 9.5 minutes on the clock. I'm a poet and I did not know it. Okay. Good placement of my minor pieces. Black's minor pieces are also jolly active, it has to be said. Black has an isolated pawn. What a shame. Okay, I could come in here with check, you know. Trade some stuff off, but I don't think that's the way to go about this game. Now, what's undefended? That's defended by the knight, defended by the bishop. Rooks are teamed up. That's undefended. Defended, defended. Bishop's quite busy, actually, but actually the knight defends that twice. That's defended twice, and that's actually not defended at all. So, with these things in mind, right, 3 undefended pieces. Is there a tic-tac on the cards? Well, I could swing my knight around and have a sniff around this bishop. Right? Can't go there, can't go there, can't go there, can't go there. No, he can. He can go there. Right? There I might take him anyway. I think here... have I improved my knight in this instance? Right? That's the question we have to ask. If I go here and he goes back... It's hard to say. I think a move like Rook FE1 makes more sense at this point in time. Am I worried about this? Either piece coming here. H3 now is a move I might consider. Feels like we've just kind of... The pace has come out of the game a little bit. Do I want to be trying to keep the tempo of the game up and pressurize and bust open the centre somehow? Well, I can't really see a good way to do it. So I'm actually drawn to these positional moves now. And I'm going to play H3. I want to constrain my opponent. I want to spoil his day. Now I do have then ideas. I might actually move this knight with the idea that when the bishop goes, all right, okay, well, forget that idea. he's now attacking. I was on about maybe doing that. Right, are we scared of this? Well, I can probably take with the pawn, and he'll recapture with knight or bishop, probably bishop. But if he, I might just move this knight, you know. Could even move the knight here. Takes. If bishop takes, then I'll probably swap it off. If knight takes, I'll probably push, something like that, yeah? Is that a good move? Is there a better one? I'm on 7 minutes. I'm going to play it. What we're going to do is we're kind of jostling. We're rolling around on the floor trying to find a good grip so that we can, you know, try and throw our opponent, get an advantage, get above him. Do you know what I mean? Kind of wrestling MMA analogy there. I hope it makes sense. But that's what's going on now. We're grappling on the ground. This is quite a forcing move because it comes with check and attacks the knight. It also attacks the pawn, but that is defended. So, I mean, it's one to consider. You know, take, maybe bishop takes, maybe threatening this, giving him doubled and isolated pawns. Is that worth the cost of a bishop? It's hard to say, but this move might come at some point. You might also push this pawn at some point. So I'm still a pawn down. Which pawn is it? It's this pawn here on c7. But in compensation, you know, he's got this isolated guy here. That's undefended now as well. This is a possibility. Actually, with this move, you see what he's done is he's undefended that knight. So check takes is a tempo gaining move. He has to move this knight. So let's pretend that this happens. Right, my bishop is on here attacking this knight. Where's knight going to go? Well, if he goes here, we've got takes, and I win the isolated pawn. But my hunch is I want to play my other improving move in anticipation of one day, someday, you never know, this pawn's going to disappear. Mark me, mark my words. Okay, so this knight was defended previously and is now undefended. Loose pieces, loose pieces. This is now loose. What was the reason for this move? I don't really know, actually. I've also got dreams of maybe dropping a knight in there, but actually it's very hard. A knight can't get into this diamond configuration, you see, because from these squares, all the squares are covered by pawns, isn't it? Oh, look! I have the option of taking twice on here, and I'm semi-inclined to do it. You also have to consider, well, what if I let him take? Well, I don't like that at all, Precious. No. I think more likely could be to push h4. But then you've got to say, well, what if he pushes, you know, and I take? Well, you know, maybe I can just tuck my king in there. That might be all right, you know. h4, don't know. This is now defended once. This pawn itself is defended now only by pieces. Also, this resurrects ideas of f4 at some point, right? Taking advantage of this pawn. The pawn is isolated, and I've managed to get a rook onto the e file as well. Now let's have a look at taketh. Taketh. Let's say knight takes. Maybe f3. Don't know. f3. He retreats. I don't know. I don't know who's better in all of that. This move. I'm gonna play that. I'm gonna play h4. I think if I do get to push g3, this is kind of good. He'll probably push h5 at some point, but now what we've done is, okay, there we go. So this again, what he's doing is he's actually encouraging me just to lock down this side of the board. And that's where my king is. His king's stuck in the center. So there's a big part of me very much drawn to the move g3. Also notice I have this as well. You know, pins the knight. Problem. Now, let's say I do this and he ignores it and pushes, right? I'm going to have to take. Still not the end of the world. What do we think of g3? Now, notice that black still has both light squared and dark squared bishops. So if I push g3, right? All this stuff is all blocked, but the light squared bishop has an in, right? We have this diagonal becomes open. But he can't push this. He simply loses a pawn doing that. So I'm gonna go slightly aggressive. I'm gonna play this. I think this is absolutely fine for me. I bring my knight here. I stick my king here, surrounded by his pawns. Right, my king's on this square. I've got pawns on these red squares. Feels pretty damn secure, that, you know. And then, you know, ooh. Hello. A4 looks interesting. This just loses the bishop. I can't do that, right? That knight takes me anyway. That, if I go there and knight takes, comes with check, doesn't it? I also then have access to this. Ooh. There. Knight can't take, it's pinned. What am I talking about? This move, so let's consider this move, right? Because of the pin. Remember, we set up the pin. The pin wasn't a winning thing. It was just a slight advantage of just improved my grip on my opponent, you know? So this very forcing move, I mean, this is a check, right? So the knight can't take, it's in an absolute pin, right? If the knight moves, it puts black in check. That would be illegal. Okay? So here, the king's in check. A knight check can't be blocked, and the knight can't be captured, because the only piece that could capture it is in an absolute pin. Therefore, the king must move. Okay, now, this knight is attacked twice. Hello. Check. Whatever the king does, whatever he does, check. Well, not check, I win the knight. Okay? PP. PP on the PP. Put pressure on the pin piece. Okay? I didn't even see that. I literally only just saw that we actually win the knight with this move. Right, can't take. Whatever he does. Whatever he does. Now, actually, I can also take with the bishop. And isn't that going to fork both rooks? Ooh. Wow. Look at that. We're winning. I do declare we're winning. We're going to win. We're going to win a whole bunch of material. We're going to win a rook outright. And then what we're going to do is going to rewind once we win, and we're going to see where black went wrong. Because that's what really matters. Why did black lose? And I'm confidently predicting he's going to lose, even though he is a 1300 rated player and has 10 minutes on the clock. But what can he do? He is in check right now. He must move the king. Okay? There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 legal moves, right? When he moves the king, my knight, by the way, is protected, so I'm not worried about the king attacking the knight. Wherever he goes, he's going to have to move off this diagonal, right? So this move, when it comes on the next turn, okay, will fork both rooks. The only thing I might consider is if the king goes to, say, one of these squares, do I want to capture, you know, the knight with my knight and check? I don't know. Probably not. Let's say he goes here. There, check. King moves again. No, I think we just win the junk. Let's just win the junk. Look at these wonderful rooks. Both rooks in the centre. Wicked. This has been an excellent game. So anyway, back to my story. Are we sitting comfortably? Then I'll begin. Okay, I mean, this is almost resignable, actually, now for black. So, so I got this call saying, can you ref a match tomorrow? And I'd actually got my stuff out just in case, because also I've said to my old club, which is the club that put me through my refereeing course, if you ever need me, I'll be there to help. Okay. Okay, so this does come with check. We're going to consider this. Then the king moves, and then no. I think the king will just go here, right? I don't want to encourage the king to get itself anywhere near anything that looks like safety, right? So here we're just going to win an exchange, and we'll be a whole rook up. Wicked. Now, so yeah, I got this call saying, "Can you do this game?" And I said, "Yeah, absolutely, no worries." And they said, "Well, it's like an hour away, so that's fine." Asked for some expenses because I'm not a society ref. I'm freelance. I'm a free agent. I'm a jobbing referee. Okay. Well, I think I'm just going to recapture the knight, and I still have a choice of rooks. Okay. So I've lost the bishop pair, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to be a rook up in this ending. Whatever happens next, I'm taking one of these bad boys. Okay. So that's fine. And then I said, "Oh yeah, what age grade is it?" And he said it's under 18. It's our first team. Right, now this is the team that I had been told before, like, you'll never ref that team because you're too low grade, right? I was like level 11, and their first team games are like level 7, level 6, okay? And that's regional kind of standard, that's getting quite serious. But anyway, so I went and did it, but I was bricking myself, absolutely bricking it for a couple of days. Just worrying about, am I going to embarrass myself? I'm just moving the knight out the way, opening up this file, because rook and king are on the same file. Okay. Knight's on a secured square, and really now I can just sit here with folded arms and say to black, do your worst. Okay, this is good though. This is a fork. I missed it. Okay. So I'm going to move the rook. He's going to take the pawn. Now the other option I do have maybe is to take this pawn, which is also free. So I think I'm just going to go here, and then possibly win this pawn. If he takes that one, okay, I can win this one. Why? Well, what's defending it? This bishop. What do we know about that bishop? It's now in an absolute pin. Why? Because I moved the knight away. Yeah? So we can now take this pawn for free. Oops. And I'm attacking this. This bishop can't move. Right? And once this pawn falls, this pawn's not looking too healthy neither. Okay, I think we just take this, but before we do that, I'm just going to see if I can find anything better. I don't think so. My rook's now under attack because the king's moved out, therefore the bishop is now free to move about the cabin. So we take the pawn. I'm a full rook up. I might push this at some point, but I might simply take as well. Right? So clear and present danger, your pawn hangs. Okay. What's undefended on my side of the board? Right, both rooks are actually undefended, and so is this pawn. But I'm up a full rook. He's got to do something about this. Right, 2 minutes 49, so I can't gas too much. We need to try and convert this game now. If he defends with a rook, I've even got this, for example. Okay, he's attacking this twice, but after knight takes pawn, I am defending that twice, so that's okay. Happy there. He might do this. Oh, hang on. It's defended twice anyway. So what am I worried about? Okay, I notice also there's now a pin on this pawn, so I'd like to do something about that. And it is annoying that he's still got the bishop pair. I'm just having a little cheeky look for forks to try and force material off. Okay. Ho ho ho. I've got lots of options to move. What I can't do is defend with the pawn because it's in an absolute pin. I can defend with the rook. I can't defend with this rook. Can't defend it with the other knights on the wrong colour. So I declare that the knight has to move, and I think the centralising moves are good. I like this one because I have the option of that. Okay, just checking this is still adequately defended. It is. And I'm looking for this move, winning either the rook or breaking the bishop pair. Either way, we are happy bunnies. This king is actually relatively safe against rooks and knights. Reason is this diamond formation, as we've already said. A knight finds it very difficult to attack that formation. So what we might end up doing is kind of putting a knight on a light square and trying to team up with a rook against pawns on dark squares. If they move the pawns, then he's broken his little diamond. what's the idea with this? I'm not quite sure, actually. So he's targeting that, it's defended. He's targeting this, it's defended. I'm wondering if there's a way I can sack the exchange. Rook takes. It's in a forkable spot, but then here, and the king's forced here. No, he's not. Yes, he is. With the knight there. So let's just think this through. I go here. What am I talking about? Okay. I think I'm just going to play this move because I've just noticed the time. I've got less than 2 minutes. Let's use his time to have a think. Okay, here, the king can't go there or there. He has to go here, right? But then my attack is kind of over. Unless I can pin a defending pawn. I can't really see a good way to do that. Now, the rook is the only defender of the bishop. I'm attacking the bishop. The rook has to move here or here, okay? Here he gets taken by the knight, so it ain't going to happen. So he's going to go here. Oh no, that's also attacked by a knight. Didn't notice that, okay? So the rook is going to have to move up or down. That's going to drop the bishop. Oh dear. Right? I didn't know all that when I pushed this pawn. It just felt like the right thing to do. In the words of Paul Atreides. It seemed like the appropriate way. He shall know your ways as though born to them. God, I love that film. I actually love both of them. I love the David Lynch film. Complete box office flop. Was the most expensive movie ever made in, was it 87 or 89, something like that, late 80s. I loved it. As a teenager, I thought that was amazing. I read the trilogy. I thought that was amazing. The kind of fan fiction ones later on, not so good. But my God, that was a good sci-fi series of books. But the new one, I actually sat down with my dad and my kids the other last Sunday and we watched it. Love it. What a good story. And again, black here is in a world of pain. Right, he can't move the rook sideways because knights cover both of those light squares. He can't even counterattack the knight because it's defended. So what you gonna do? Huh? His best bet is probably okay, yeah, okay, equal trade. There you go, yeah. Oh, why didn't I take the rook? You doofus. Okay, I'm +6, it doesn't really matter. There's me. Get carried away with my little tails and I forget to look at the board. Right? I cannot begin to stress how important it is to look at the board. Okay, I'm inclined just to double up here. All that way. But no, not that way, because I think the bishop might take my rook. Which would not make us happy, precious. No, not at all. My knight's in a reasonable position, okay? Notice, in an endgame, by the way, I'm going to make a move, but in an endgame, if you've only got a knight, your opponent's only got a bishop, the general idea is you want your knight to be on an opposite colour to that bishop. Why? Because my knight here is controlling 8 light squares from its dark squared vantage point. Knights always change colour every time they move. So I'm controlling 8 light squares. That is 8 light squares that this guy can't tread on because they got landmines, right? Plus, so my knight is attacking a bunch of light squares, but it can't be attacked itself. No, it can't. Okay, so what am I threatening? I'm threatening that, obviously, yeah? Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to move our stuff up the board. Am I worried about checks on the bishop? Am I? Nope. So I'm just going to shove these pawns up the board. I'm going to try and create a queen, force him to give up his rook, and go on and win the day. Yeah, it's a very, very simple strategy now. This rook does not scare me. My king is really well defended. Right, I'm just going to use these pawns now. That's how you win an endgame. I mean, unless some kind of fork appears, but not really. Okay, so now what we're going to do... I can't put it on a dark square. If I do this is his... He wants to drop down there, isn't it? And... can I come here? Bishop goes there, I go here. I'm just trying to be annoying now. Okay, now I go here and now he's pinned his bishop, right? If he moves that bishop... Oh, actually... Now he can. I need to get my... Okay, well, look, no. The bishop is still pinned. This is a very, very common endgame idea, right? It's like a double pin. The rook has to defend the bishop. And you quite often get this on a back rank. And if you've got a rook stuck in the corner that's not moved, get like a bishop or a knight that's not moved, right? Because someone's been slow in development, right? You drop a rook and they're both stuck. Because the rook has to defend the bishop or the knight, yeah? But the bishop or the knight can't move because the rook falls. It's like a double pin thing. So all I need to do now is stick my king on a dark square. And what that means is that this bishop can't move with check under any circumstances. It's a physical impossibility. Ain't going to happen. I'm going to threaten this. I'm going to threaten to take that bishop. And look what's happened. He's actually... Okay, well, he's defending the rook with a pawn. But it don't matter. Don't matter, mate. I'm doing this. Oh, he's got this. He's got this. He has got that. But... I mean, I could... At this point in time, actually, I could even calculate what happens if I just trade everything off. Okay, all right, I'm having that. Okay, he's got what looks like to be a fork, but it ain't because... Aha! Fork you, sir. Oh. I see your fork, and I raise you, and I'm having that bishop, and you're welcome to the knight. You are welcome to... I'm melting! The sun comes out. Right, that wasn't the best move in the world, was it? He should have just pushed the pawn, I think. Okay, because what he's done is he's now done this. So all I have to do now is eliminate that pawn on the there we go. And it's all over. Good, good, good. Good game. This is what I recommend you do. At the end of, right, if you want to get better at chess, number one, play longer play games, right? Absolutely. Don't play blitz if you want to improve. You know, blitz is for when you're already good and you want to practice being good, right? If you're playing blitz and blundering a lot, all you're doing is practicing being bad, right? That's what I do, right? I play blitz for fun, that's it, right? I'm not playing blitz to improve. So play longer play games, and when you finish a game, go back and work through the game yourself and say, why was that game lost? Well, let's answer that question together, just me and you. Okay, a normal-ish opening, the Goering Gambit. We're gambiting a couple of pawns. This, I mentioned at the time, I thought was a bit slow. And the eval now says 0.5 in white's favour. Previously, on the Goering Gambit show, it was 0.3 in black's favour. 0.4 now, right? This move turns the tables back to white. White is now better. Why is white better? You know? Work through the game and say, well, okay, the eval moved, but why? Well, I'll tell you why. And I'll tell you for why. Right? It's because what black hasn't done on this move is he's not developed his pieces. Right? He's not controlling the board, as I like to say. Okay, a bit of Uncle Bryn there, a little bit of Uncle Bryn. Right? He's not brought this knight out. He's not brought his bishop out. He's not done anything to get this bishop out. Do you know what I mean? He's not a step closer to castling. So what's he done? He did this to prevent ideas of that and that. Now, I did that move later on. Okay, but we can compare and contrast the timeliness of those moves. So I declare that this is too slow, and it's too slow in terms of development. Now I castle, and look at the ease with which I am able to proceed through this game at this point. Okay, now we have d6. Ain't too bad. It's now it's now actually equal. 0.2, 0.4 in white's favour now. Okay, white's slightly better. Slightly better. I take the pawn. Right? I'm slightly better, even though I'm a pawn down. And this is the point at gambits. But you've got to play a gambit the right way. What? In return for my pawn, I have 2 more pieces developed, and I've castled. And that is a very good deal. I mean, now it says 0-0, actually. Okay, so black's okay here. if he plays really well. Because the computer actually tends to lean in favour of the side that's got the more material. Because with perfect play, when you can plan 20 moves deep, you can really make that extra pawn count. Humans struggle a lot more than the engine to do that. Okay, now he brings a knight out into the board. I declare that to be a decent move. Okay, white is still just slightly better. And here I calced this. Oh, and the computer disapproves. The computer says that's at least inaccurate. And he takes. It's 0.7, 0.9 in black's favour now. I trade queens. It didn't like it. Then the king takes, which I thought was I think he should have taken with the knight in order to preserve castling rights. Okay, and now it likes black, curiously. Right, but notice he's hung a pawn. We grab the pawn. Computer normally approves of things like that. It doesn't. It says nah. Black is actually slightly better now. I think in real world chess, no. Okay, he develops. It's not the most active way to develop. I mean, he's joined this bishop into a pawn chain now, so he's made it a tall pawn. But the computer still likes black slightly. If it was Stockfish I was playing, Stockfish would fancy its own chances, but then again, Stockfish would always beat me, right? Okay, he develops this bishop to Yer, and now it's gone back to equal, even Stevens, 0.2 to black here. I centralise a rook. Computer says, bam, bam. He moves his king. Remember, this is real world chess we're playing here. We're not playing against computers. 1.2 in black's favour now. Okay, he centralises a rook. Computer... I'm going to just ignore the computer, right? This is not... Okay, so here is when I play h3. I play h3. My king's already castled, right? He's got two pieces that can come to this square, like I did as well. You know, I had two pieces that could go to g5. I just don't want him to be able to improve his material, right? And the thing is that this is now in the middle to end game. Right? Queens are off the board, okay? But I've still got all my other pieces. Right. In fact, so we've both got all the only pieces that have come off the board are the queens. So you can't really say this is an end game. Right? Now, what are you trying to do in the middle game? You're trying to improve your pieces, right? When my opponent pushed this pawn here, I don't want to put my knight here. Right? I want to get a castle, I want to get the rest of my stuff out. Yes, I'm going to develop this bishop at some point, but you know, my bishop has options for where it can go. You know? This was not my dream that I'm so hung up on, that it's worth black spending an entire move, and move 5 as well, critical point in the game, to do that. Okay, so we have some tomfoolery. I'm feeling good, and now this is when I play this move. Now he pushes his pawn forwards. I pivot the knight about. Again, the computer actually thinks that the black's doing perfectly well here. I never felt that. Okay, I centralise my rook. I feel like positionally I'm good. But I'm still a pawn down. Now, does it like this? No. It thinks I made myself slightly worse. Okay. And that is a blunder by the look of it. I mean, that's a mistake at the very least. Okay, I now pin the knight. The computer approves. And that, wow, again, because I come in with this and boom, it's all over. Right, so, I mean, the issue was, I made this move just to pin the knight, right? Because I know that a pin could be worth something. You could cash it in later on. It's an investment in future possibilities. I hadn't even seen this idea until I looked at it and then went, actually, that works. Actually, that wins. Okay, he takes here. I take the knight. I've still got a rook, right? No one's taken the rooks away from me. They are still forked, right? So I won the piece back. He does this, and you know, from then on it's fairly straightforward, really, to be honest. Again, another issue with just not spotting the fact that that's defended only by a pinned piece. He decides to move the king, drops another pawn, and it's really a walk-in from this point in time, quite honestly. Yeah. And there we go. So I'll have a quick look at the game review and see how it evaluated our performance. Okay, here we go. We're going to remove names to protect the innocent. And place your bets. How did we do? I'd love to get an 1800 guessed at ELO on this. I know the computer, though, disapproved of quite a few of my moves. I don't know if they were, how many, might have like one mistake in this. I don't know. Let's see what we get. I want accuracy in the 80s. Ooh, 91. 91, 2 mistakes, according to the machine. But look, I was never really worse. Never really worse, always building. So, 2150. Sweet. Excellent, Hunty. Excellent play. 2150. And a perfect middle game. Bosh. Yes, yes, yes. Indeed. Okay, well, I'm not going to go through the analysis again. I'm just very, 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 very happy with that. Again, not feeling like totally sparky. So yeah, just to finish my story. I mean, most people switch off now, but yeah, just finish my story about the referee. So I turned up and did this game yesterday for the first team. Now, I've not done any cardio of any kind since May, since my last match I refereed. So I was really worried I was going to leave along on the pitch, right? These kids are under 18. One of the home team players just played for England under 18 this summer. Okay, just represented his country. These kids, were quick, man. Right? This is like the peak of when I was playing at school, so at similar level. So I was a bit worried about my cardio fitness, and I was really worried that these are good, strong players, very, very high level schools rugby, and that I'd forget my laws or something like that, get embarrassed. No, it went brilliantly. It was fantastic. The coaches were complimentary. They said, we want to use you again. It's wonderful. And I said to them at the end, this is why I actually left my society, because I couldn't get above level 11. And this was like a level 8, 7 game. So, wonderful. So, that's made up my mind. I'm just going to be a freelance jobbing referee. In addition to being a chess teacher, in addition to being a diet coach, in addition to being a ghostwriter, which is my main thing. If you look at benhutton.com, that's my main gig now, is actually writing books for other people in their names. So if you've got a book in you, maybe we can talk. But yeah, so that's the thing about this day and age. You don't have to do just one thing necessarily. It's okay to do many things, right? I also sell burgers at festivals. I also make didgeridoos. If you want a didgeridoo, if you're in England, come up, play a few, I'll give you a lesson. Go home with one. It's all good. Yeah, life is good. Anyway, this game was good. Happy about that. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and all that kind of bullshit. Okay, see you soon.